Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 most anticipated horror movies of 2024. 2023 is drawing to a close, so that means it's time for a lot of top 10 list videos. So I'm going to have my top 10 horror movies of the year coming soon. There's just a couple that I need to catch up on, and I'm also going to be ranking every horror movie that I've seen this year from the worst to the best, and I might do a top 5 surprising and top 5 disappointing horror movies. We'll see how it goes, but for the first of these lists I'm going to be doing the top 10 most anticipated of the year. So we've had a good couple of years with horror. I think it's in a good place right now, and there's a few movies coming next year that I am quite excited for. So before we get into the top 10, don't forget to leave down below the movies that you're excited for. There might be some I've missed here, and I also just want to give some honorable mentions, so let's just get into them. First up, we have Speak No Evil, which is going to be a remake of a Dutch movie, I believe, that came on Shudder last year, and I really enjoyed it. Made me squirm a few times, and wasn't an easy watch. Whether this remake will recapture what that movie gave, I don't know, but I just didn't make the list. Final Destination 6 is another one. I didn't put it in there because I don't know if it's going to be this year. We've had that movie in production for a while now, and it's been delayed a few times, so God knows when that's coming out. If it was this year, I probably would have put it in, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they can bring in a new Final Destination movie that is quite long overdue. We've also got The First Omen, which I only found out that was coming a couple of weeks ago, and I think this is going back to the church and stuff and seeing the roots of what happened before the first movie. I believe it's a bit of a prequel, but I don't know too much about it. We also have Nosferatu, the new Robert Eggers movie that a lot of people seem to be excited for. I did like the original Nosferatu. I think I'm going to have to give it a rewatch, but I'm excited to see what Eggers can bring to this. We also have Salem's Lot, which we do have a 3-hour version of already, which is a mini-series that came out back in the day, and I would like to see what a modern retelling can do of that. And a lot of people are big fans of Salem's Lot, so I'm sure a lot of more people are excited than that than me, but I am looking forward to checking it out. We also have Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom, which I didn't know whether to put on this list or not because it is a little bit of a family-friendly movie. It has a little bit more comedy than horror and stuff, so if it was on this list, it would be probably in the top 5, but I've just left it out for now, just in case people start to scream at the TV or whatever your device you're watching it on, in case you think that's not horror. And lastly, we do have Scream 7. I have a feeling this is not going to come out in 2024. I heard it was maybe going to take place around Christmas, so it may come in December of 2023, but I do highly doubt it, especially with all the uproar we've had lately with Jenna Ortega and Melissa Barrera, but I'm still looking forward to Scream 7. That's it for the honourable mentions, guys, so let's just get into it now with number 10. Coming in 10th place, we do have Imaginary. Now, this is coming from Blumhouse in March, who also have another film coming in January, by the way, called Night Swim. Didn't quite make this list, but I'm sure we can expect a lot from Blumhouse this year, as we have done with the previous years. Now, this is from director Jeff Wadlow, who brought us Kick-Ass 2, but he also has dipped his toe in the horror genre a few times with Truth or Dare and Fantasy Island, which are movies I haven't checked out yet. I haven't heard the greatest things about them, but I definitely like Kick-Ass 2. And when I watched the trailer and stuff with this, I just thought, yeah, this movie looks like it's going to be for me. I do like movies that focus around killer dolls or killer toys, and this one looks like it's going to be in the shape of a teddy bear, but it looks like these people are going to move into this house. Yes, that old horror trope that's seems to be in a lot of horror movies these days, and it's actually become a trope in itself now. Move to a new house, some stuff happens, but this young girl who is part of the family seems to have this imaginary friend within this bear, and sinister things start to happen. We've seen something similar last year with Megan, we've seen it with Chucky down the years, so definitely interested to see where this one goes. But going by the trailer, it does look like it might be an entity attaching itself to this child in the form of the teddy bear, and it might be something like the Boogeyman, which we got last year. And I just hope it doesn't go down that generic path. But I think, going by the trailer, it gives me a bit more hope that this movie definitely knows what it's doing and won't be one of them, but we will have to wait and see. However, just because it plays on, it's like toys coming to life and stuff like that, that's my bag. I love them type of movies, so I thought I'd throw it in this list. at number 10. So that is Imaginary. Now, coming in ninth place, I've sort of cheated a little bit here because I'm going to mention 3 movies, but we are having a full trilogy of these films this year, and that is the Strangers trilogy. Now, I have seen the original. I haven't seen Prayer at Night yet, but I will definitely be watching it before this one. And I wasn't massive on the original. I thought it was fine. There were some creepy moments. Good little home invasion film, but an underwhelming ending, really. But why I've put it in this list is because I'm just like more intrigued by why there is a trilogy coming. Some of the writers who pitched this to the studio must have had a great idea for them to say, yeah, we're going to greenlight a Strangers trilogy. And we've seen it a few times now with the Fear Street trilogy, and we had, Pearl and X, and we're going to be getting Maxine. So this seems to be a little bit of a new trend, but something that isn't massively popular in the horror genre. I mean, they've had 2 fairly liked movies. I think there must have been something there in the script for them to go, yeah, this is a really great idea. Now, with it being a trilogy, I hope they do 3 different types of movies and we don't just get 3 of the same home invasion films. I highly doubt that's going to happen. But what I liked about the Fear Street trilogy was that we had the 90s, we had the 70s, was it? And we also had the 1600s, so it all felt different with them movies, and I hope Strangers can do something like that, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But hopefully the movies do feel like they can stand on their own as well within themselves, and it's not all this to be continued, all left on cliffhangers until the finale of the 3rd film. It'd be nice if we got a really cool beginning and end for one film, a really cool beginning and end for the middle film, but we'll just have to wait and see how they pan out. But like I said, I've put this on the list because I'm more intrigued as to what ideas are going to come to fruition here. So number 9 is the Strangers trilogy. Number 8 is going to be Shelby Oaks, directed by Chris Stuckman. Now, a lot of you guys will probably know him from YouTube as possibly the biggest film reviewer on the platform. He is someone I have watched for a very, very long time, and I put it on this list because I am very intrigued to see what he can do on his full directional debut for a motion picture. I know this guy has wanted this for such a long time. He is going to stop at nothing to become a filmmaker, and I'm just very glad it's happening for him because he is such a huge inspiration for me and for a lot of other people on YouTube. This guy knows movies inside out. He's a fantastic reviewer, and it'd just be fun to see the way he's critiqued movies over the years and see how his film is going to pan out. And I'm sure there'll be lots of YouTubers reviewing his movies and pointing out the negatives and the positives, which is something he's done, pretty much for best part of a decade now. I just think that would be fun to see, really. But Chris, I wish you all the best with this, my friend. The story sounds really intriguing, actually. A young woman is going to find out what happened to her sister in these woods, I think that's what it was. A paranormal investigation, really. And she's going to go down a bit of a deep downward spiral by the sounds of things. So I don't think this is found footage, but it would sound like a found footage concept. I don't think it's going to be that, the way Chris was talking and stuff, but I think it's a cool idea, and I really hope this movie works out for him, because if it does, and it turned out to be something really unique and different, the guy could have a very bright future. I've really enjoyed listening to some of his film ideas that he really wants to bring out, so if he is a success here, obviously he can bring a lot of his ideas to fruition. So Chris, hope it all works out, mate. I'll be there watching it for sure, and maybe even reviewing it on this channel. I might be one of them. No, so yeah. Number 8 is Shelby Oaks. Number 7 is going to be Smile 2. I think we only got this announced just a couple of weeks ago, maybe even just a week ago there, and it is meant to be hitting next October, I believe. And Finn Parker is returning to direct this movie, who directed the first film, of course. Now, I was a bit and ahhing about this movie, whether it's a good idea or not, but then again, when I look back to the first movie, I thought, you know what, this just looks like this generic horror film, full of jump scares. I don't know if it's going to be any good, and it was one of the biggest surprises of 2022 for me. I think it made my top 20 movies of the year, and I watched over 100 films in 2022, so let's just give it a chance now. Naomi Scott, who plays Jasmine in the Aladdin live-action remake, and it looks like this entity is going to be terrorizing her this time around. Now, what I loved about the first film, there was some really creepy imagery with the characters smiling and stuff, and some really well done jump scares. I mean, there was a lot of jump scares in the movie, but they were well done, really well directed, and it was just a really cool story. Borrows a little bit from It Follows, but also has enough to do its own thing. So I really hope Smile 2 is as good as the first movie. Not hold my breath or not, but I'm definitely willing to give it a chance, because the first one, like I said, surprised the hell out of me. And I don't know if they're going to explore more of this entity that is terrorizing these people, because we did see it at the end of the first movie. I think you've still got to keep the tension and stuff, and not jump into that too early, but we will see. Who knows? It might even be a prequel, because they get me left, right and centre these days, don't they? But Smile 2 is one I'm excited for. Coming up in sixth place, we do have Saw 11. Now, Saw X was one of the biggest surprises of this year for me. I really didn't expect anything from that movie at all, especially with some of the duds we've had in the franchise, and it turned out to be in my top 3 Saw movies. So this one, I imagine, is going to take place after the events of Saw 10, because, spoiler alert, there is a character who is still sort of out there, roaming free. Don't want to name her just in case you haven't seen the movie, but man, I really wanted her to get her comeuppance in Saw X, and it didn't happen. And we are in a little bit of a tricky situation here, because she has already completed one of Jigsaw's games. So is it going to be easy enough to pull her back in when she has won the game? That goes against the Jigsaw rules. They mightn't even do this. They may go in a totally different direction, but I highly doubt it. I do think we are going to see this taking place between Saw 1 and 2 in the events of what happened in Saw X. John Kramer is sort of an anti-hero in Saw X. I didn't want to connect with him going in, because I know what he's going to do in future, and I couldn't help it. I felt bad for the guy, and I sort of got on his side. So maybe this movie will take that and start to turn him a little bit into the horrible murderer that he does become, even though he says he didn't murder anyone. Yeah, okay, John. But really excited to check this one out. There's a new lease of life into the Saw franchise now. Saw X definitely breathed some new fresh air into it, and that was a movie I didn't see coming. So let's hope they aren't rushing it. I know it's coming out a year later, but a lot of the franchise did that anyway. But let's hope they had some good ideas. Maybe these ideas came to fruition before Saw X was even made, and they had a little plan there. Let's not make it a big trilogy of events. Let's wrap all that up between Saw 1 and 2 in this movie, and then maybe in the future we can go down a different path. Let's not drag it out over 3 movies. But Saw 11, which was announced a few days ago, had to make this list in 6th place. Coming in 5th place is going to be A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, I would have really loved to see John Krasinski direct the 3rd movie and make a really well-rounded trilogy here. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case, and Michael Sarnowski has taken over directional duties. But John Krasinski did write this film, so I suppose it is his vision. And I don't know if he was directing that it was going to be this, and he may have done a follow-on from the 2nd film, which had a very abrupt ending, which I do think needs a story finishing off there, which is strange to go back and do it as spin-off, but it is still something he wrote, so I've had full faith in him for the last 2 movies, so I'm going to have full faith in his vision for this one. But this looks like it's going to be a tale of totally different characters set in the world of A Quiet Place. Really hope they don't delve too much into everything before the events of this world ending, because we've seen a lot of that in part 2. It went back to Emily Blunt's character and how she was trying to escape these monsters attacking. I don't think we need to see too much more of that, but I am definitely excited to see a bunch of new characters in a new story in this world. And it's a very dangerous world to live in. These monsters that will come after you if you make a sound. and tear you to shreds are terrifying, and I'm really happy to be revisiting this world once again. Now, A Quiet Place 2 was one of the best cinema experience I have ever had. Thankfully, everyone in that cinema was very quiet. You could hear a pin drop, and that enhanced the experience brilliantly. So I'm hoping when I go to the cinema to see this one, we get more of the same thing there. So A Quiet Place Day 1, let's hope it's as good as the other two, because they are some really great modern horror films right there. Number 4 is going to be The Wolfman. Now, Leigh Whannell is coming to direct this one, which has me a little bit excited and moved it up a few places on this list. I thought he'd done a fantastic job of the Invisible Man remake, or retelling, however you want to word that. I thought he brought a really cool modern take on the character, and I don't think The Wolfman is in any better hands than Leigh Whannell. He's a very exciting upcoming director. I know he worked with James Wan on Saw, and James Wan has absolutely killed it in the directing game, but Leigh Whannell is sort of taking his hand to it now, and he's directed 3 movies so far, I believe. I have not seen Upgrade. I've heard that probably his best movie, so I really need to get that watched, especially before The Wolfman comes out. But I have seen Insidious Chapter 3. I think it's possibly the best one in that franchise. A very, very underrated horror film. Didn't see how good that movie was going to be. You know, when I watched it, I just thought this is going to be another generic horror movie in the Insidious franchise, especially after part 2, and it surprised the hell out of me. And we also have The Invisible Man, which was my second favourite movie of 2020, I believe. I'm very excited to see what Leigh Whannell can do here with The Wolfman. The Wolfman, for me, from 1941, is the greatest werewolf movie ever made. Yes, I know a lot of people think it's an American werewolf in London, but for me, it's The Wolfman. And I don't think we get too many werewolf movies these days, especially compared to zombie or vampire flicks. I think we need more werewolf movies, and there's not too many that really do stand out in the subgenre, in my opinion. There are some classic ones, of course, but I just think we need a new one. It's been a while since we've had one from memory. And unfortunately, Ryan Gosling has dropped out of this movie as the lead star here. I thought he was going to be perfect. But let's hope Christopher Abbott can deliver here. He's now took over the role. I've only ever seen him in It Comes at Night. So with Joel Edgerton in there, and I thought he'd done a really good job. He was a cool character in that movie. So let's hope he can deliver here as the Wolfman. But really excited to see this one. I think it could be awesome. And maybe we'll get an absolutely amazing transformation scene. You gotta have a transformation scene in a werewolf movie now, haven't you? So in 4th place is the Wolfman. Number 3 is going to be Alien Romulus. Now, this is from director Fede Alvarez, who brought us the Evil Dead remake from 2013, and that is my favourite movie in the Evil Dead franchise. He also brought us Don't Breathe, which I think is a really great modern horror movie, full of tension and stuff. And you know what? I am excited to see what he can do here. If I could pick Fede Alvarez to direct a lot of movies in the horror genre, like a Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff, you know, or like a Halloween movie or something, I would be so happy to pick him, because I just think he's got talent behind the camera. So I'm really excited to see what he can do with an Alien movie, which is one of my favourite horror franchises. Now, Alien and Aliens are 2 of the greatest movies ever made, in my opinion, and this is going to take place in between Alien and Aliens, and it's going to be a little bit of a standalone film. You know, I think it's going to have separate characters that we haven't really heard of and stuff, but it's going to take place in the timeline between them. Now, I don't think it's going to go to LV-246. Is that the planet? I really hope I'm remembering that correctly, because we kind of know what's going to happen there, don't we? That is set just before the events of Aliens, but I do think this is going to take place somewhere in the middle of that timeline, not towards Aliens really, but we'll have to wait and see. I am just totally guessing, but I hope he doesn't do that, because we already know the outcome of that story, with everyone being wiped out by the aliens and Newt being the only survivor. But I think we are due a great Alien film, because we haven't really seen anything special since Aliens. I was a bit of a fan of Alien 3, to be honest, Alien Resurrection, not very good. Prometheus, Alien Covenant, I didn't really care for them movies, guys. I'm not going to lie. I did not like the direction Ridley Scott took. Who is a producer on this movie, so let's hope he doesn't have too much input on Fede Alvarez's vision. But this has the potential to be absolutely amazing. So let's hope it delivers. I think this is coming in summer 2024. And who knows, it could be an absolute masterpiece for all I know. Fede Alvarez, I think he's got it in good hands here. So that is Alien Romulus. Coming in second place, now this was very, very tight between this and first place. But I'm going to have to go with Terrifier 3. Now, I absolutely love the first two Terrifier films. Art the Clown, right now, is my favourite horror icon who's sort of going at the minute there. And the sky is the limit for this guy. David Howard Thornton just brings so much to this character. He is just the most evil, badass clown you've ever seen in a movie. And he is returning once again here to play this murderous madman. Now we're going to have Elliot Fulham, Lauren Oliveira back in, back in the story to carry on what happened in the second film. We've got Damien Leone, of course, directing and writing this movie and everything. And this is going to have a bigger budget by the looks of things, because the second one done a hell of a lot, better than expected and had a great cinema run. And I've heard this one is going to be in the millions. So he made that movie at £200,000, which is absolutely unbelievable. I'm excited to see what can go on with Lauren Oliveira and her brother Elliot Fulham in this movie. Maybe we can explore a bit more about the character of Art the Clown, because it is a little bit up in the air about him and stuff. But I'm really happy to see Sienna back kicking ass and stuff like that. And this is all going to take place at Christmas time, which for me just is totally going to work. The white snow being painted red by Art the Clown here. We've all had that little segment of the young girl coming down the stairs and Art the Clown sitting by the tree with an axe ready waiting for her. The poster art is great. He's got like all these faces and stuff on the Christmas tree. And I just, man, I'm so excited for this. I believe it's coming out in October. So looks like we're going to be returning to it after October, around Christmas time as well, because it looks like it's going to be a Christmas horror. And I really cannot wait for this. Love Art the Clown. Love the gore in this movie. I don't know how he's going to top the kills then. The first two movies had two of the most brutal kills I've ever seen in a slasher film, but let's hope he's got something really nasty up his sleeve for this one as well. Very, very excited. Damien Leone, take it away, son. Second place, we've got Terrifier 3. Coming in first place, though, we do have Maxine. Now, I'm very, very excited to see what Ty West is going to do here, because the first two films were excellent, in my opinion. Did prefer X just a little bit more over Pearl, but two really exciting movies to come in the horror genre in the last year or two. Now, what I'm excited more about for more about this movie is Ty West capturing the 80s, because he captured the 70s perfectly there. Definitely took inspiration from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff, I think. And then he had like a technical and nightmarish look in Pearl from the 1918 or 1919 that movie took place around the First World War. So yeah, I mean, I think he captures the themes well, the locations, the look of the movie, and I'm really excited to see what he can do with the 80s. A lot of people's favorite era, and it's going to see the character from X, played by Mia Goth, go, and the character of Maxine go into the 80s after the events of X, where she survived that murderous night, and try and become this star that she wants to become in Los Angeles. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a slasher movie and stuff. I can't wait. I just cannot wait to see what direction Ty West is going to take here. Mia Goth is an absolute superstar. I just watched Infinity Pool this year. Thought she was absolutely incredible. She's incredible in Pearl. She's incredible in X. She is an absolute superstar. Probably my favourite actress working today. And I just can't wait to see more of her in the role of Maxine. I just think this is a movie that is really, it's going to live up to expectations. Got to temper them expectations, but I just don't think it's going to fail. I really like the way he's kind of took his time with this one. I know the other ones were rushed out, but You know, it looks like he's taking a little bit more time with this, and he's going to get it spot on. And again, it's one of them trilogies that could be one of the greatest horror trilogies of all time if it turns out well. And it's a very quick in succession trilogy overall when you look at it. You know, I know he took his time, but overall, when you look at it, these three movies just came out of nowhere, didn't he? And I don't think I'll be the only one who was excited for Maxine. I'm sure a lot of people will have it near the top of their most anticipated horror list. So definitely can't wait for this. Number one is Maxine. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave your most anticipated horror movies for the year down below. Look out for the top 10 horror movies of the year and other lists coming in late December. So thanks so much, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if horror is your sort of thing. And thanks so much. You all take care, and I'll see you on the next video.